Yo, 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 what is up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Shape Up. And in true spirit of just giving you that touch up before we get to the meat, we're bringing up a topic that's been all over the socials, all over news. There's lots of echoes, there's lots of rumors. You have to be living under a rock to not hear the saga. The Diddy do it? Did Puff Diddy do all that stuff that people said he did? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So today we have me, the Doc. Then we got
Millionaire Mike, man, talking to you out of Dubai.
Pleasure P.
Big Mitch. And I don't know if we heard you, Pleasure, but we got Pleasure P as well.
Pleasure
Our
P.
other guests are a bit tardy. Our other hosts, I should say, are a bit tardy. And they will join us hopefully soon. But in the true spirit of things, let's kick this off. So there's a lot that just seems to keep flying up every day that this Don has done. You know what was funny is I look back when I was younger. I don't know about you, man, but I remember when Mace exited the rap game.
Yeah.
And I was
Yes.
just like, what's this Don doing? Like, you man are on top of the world. Like, how has he all of a sudden found the Lord, given it all up? And like,
Yeah.
he got ostracized. And at that time, I was like, what's he doing? Now, jeez, that
Kinda
man knew
getting,
something.
Yeah. I
What do you think?
with
What do you think it was that he knew?
yeah, for me, I think obviously there's some truth to some of the allegations. I think some of it's blatantly, some of it I think's made up. But I think for me, with P Diddy, I kind of went off him after the Mace thing and the way he's treated all these artists. Like he kept all their royalties until recently. So until last year,
Really?
yeah, he had the royalties. So none of them were getting paid for their songs. It was all going to P Diddy until
You
last year.
joking?
Seriously, until last year when he suddenly just gave everyone back their royalties, but with a condition. He was like, you can have your royalties back after like 25 years or so of rinsing them, but you have to sign an NDA.
NDA.
Yeah.
Oh.
NDA.
So this is before the allegations are coming out. So obviously he knew something was grinding, and then obviously after that, the Cassie thing come out and stuff like that. So and then it's just one domino dropping after the next, basically. So for me, like people like Craig Mack and stuff like that, Black Rob, all died, and my man weren't like contributing nothing. So for me, yeah, he goes on about black excellence and helping your people, and he can even help his own artists. Like, come on, Mace tried to buy his royalties back time ago, and he just weren't having it, basically. So, yeah, man, I think a lot is true about that, about the allegations. And if you deep things as well, he's kind of been involved in kind of like most of like the hip hop controversies since going back to like '96. Like he had a hand something to do with Tupac, Biggie, just that shooting with Shine, just bare things, man. Everything seemed to set around
yeah.
people.
Always been like echoes around him.
But in a mad way, Puffy doesn't look like the regular Don. But if he is that guy, he's really that guy.
He now is.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, it's mad though to me, because how can you be in such a public position and do so many of these allegations and it not even surface until how many years, how many decades are we talking? This stuff started to come out and like tumble down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you manage to, how do you guys think that a Don, can manage to navigate all of these things that must have been going back in the day for it only to start coming up decades later?
I think from my point of view, I think it's obviously money and power, and it goes higher than him. Like with the kind of like, apparently he's supposed to be into some sex trafficking thing. It involves like the top dons in the music industry, And so I think that's one of the reasons why, obviously, he's kind of got away with it until recently.
So are we saying that Puffy is probably just one pawn in this giant sex trafficking ring that we hear people talk about in Hollywood and the music industry? He might just be a small potato when you think about it. Because really, what's Puffy done? Weinstein and so not Epstein. I mean, we have man there, Weinstein, Epstein, all them Steens. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we? Yeah, like is he basically just part of a culture of bare sex molestation that's been happening from time immemorial?
The thing is, when you got that kind of money and that kind of influence, because you guys talk about power, he's also got influence. Like, you think about the brands associated with him, like throughout the years, the names associated with him. Like, for me, I always wondered, when you ditch Jennifer Lopez, something ain't right, man. Like, something's not right from there.
Him, man, she knew, man.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure she ditched him.
Okay,
Now it makes sense, bro. I was like, how did that thing get like that? Makes sense.
Messed it, man.
But the thing is, you think about how many circles he stretched across: Hollywood, music industry, all the different artists and stuff. And he has a play in that. So even if he was part of like a bigger thing, he's still he's a public name. So by default, he's a bigger name than someone that's behind the scenes, isn't it? It's a recognizable figure. Yeah. You can easily infiltrate. I say infiltrate. You can easily what's the word? Lure someone into false sense of security, innit? You hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
People go for what they call it, auditions and this and that, and they're asked to do other things. Diddy has straight up access.
It's like that.
Yeah. The worrying thing is, sorry, go on. Yes, the worrying thing is he's to so back in the day and quite recently, so Usher, for example, went to live with him when he was like 14, so he could mentor him. So yeah. And then
they're saying now Bieber was touched or something. I see.
Yeah, I saw that flash.
As soon as the white boy comes out,
and he's in trouble, bruv.
Game over.
One alone.
It's crazy. So then, what I was going to say is, does anybody know any of the allegations? So we can kind of.
I've seen a list. I've seen a list. So there's a list, yeah.
There's a list.
So
hit us with some of the lists.
So this is to the Independent, yeah.
Okay.
So you got the Cassie thing, which you've all heard about.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Rodney Little Rod Jones.
Yeah. He was
recent lawsuit. This one's in February. Alleged subject to unwanted advances by associates of Diddy at his direction. So Diddy telling mans to do things to the next man. Joey Dickerson Neal. This is November 2023. Filed a lawsuit alleging Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and secretly recorded the assault while she was a college student in 1991. Says here more women came forward, so there's 3 more on the back of that.
Wow.
There's an anonymous plaintiff. This one came in November. This
Aaron
one's
Hall.
saying... Sorry?
With Aaron Hall, yeah.
Is it so then because these things are coming out now, yeah? We can look at our guy, I forget his name, from the sitcom. What's the guy, black guy?
Cosby,
yeah. Cosby's out, R. Kelly's out, Millionaire Mike's brethren. He's out. And it seems like these dons were in a position where they were just bold-faced doing what they wanted and thinking, minor, it's never gonna amount to nothing.
But was it okay? So I might sound a bit mad now. Was it more acceptable back then though? Like with Cosby times, everyone knew that what was that? Those pills that he used to Quaaludes.
Roofies.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, man, to say it even in their raps and jokes, roofie there, calm.
Yeah. Apparently, though, in the 70s, 80s, that was just the norm. Like, you go to a party and you just pop a Quaalude and whatever happens, innit? And it's one of them ones. That's what I've heard. I'm not saying that I hope it's right morally, was that just the norm? And then like with obviously the Me Too movement, things are just being dug out now from the past, because a lot of dons will be in that boat, man. I think, because
You know
if that
what?
was
He's right. Do you know Richard Pryor? There was talks of Richard Pryor smashing guys as well, you know, because he jokes about
Yeah.
some of his stand-up comedy is based on real stuff that's actually happened. But there was rumors of him smashing like Marlon Brando and all the guys, man, because they were high on cocaine, high on mad drugs, doing some mad shit going back then. But isn't it to some extent though, right?
yeah,
Isn't it abuse of power,
That's what I was going to
especially
say.
amongst like you see the black community? Yeah, to me, Puffy is no different from an African president, bro, from some corrupt African president that say, listen, man, I'm the president of this place. I'm gonna shaft whoever I want to shaft. Man,
yeah.
women, don't care. And if you want to eat, then do what I say. Bend over and just take that. You know what I mean? Just what
No pun intended.
There's that saying. There's that
just
saying
one
where
of
they
them
say,
ones.
"Absolute power corrupts absolutely."
Mm.
I think that's exactly what it was. These dons were in such. It goes to show these dons were in such powerful and influential places that even I reckon people around them would have looked at that and said, "Yo, this isn't right." But because of the power, they were just like, "Maybe this is normal in this circle because I'm here. Maybe this is acceptable."
Let's keep it a buck here. Back in the day, because we from that era. We think about the biggest record labels at the time. If you were on Bad Boy Records, you were guaranteed hits because they were the winners. They were winning at the time, right?
Yeah,
So from 112 to say Locks and all these guys, if you get a record deal with Sean Puffy Combs at the time, as he was known, aka Puff Daddy, P Diddy, bro, you
So
talking
that's your
about
set.
coming out the end, coming out the hood with no prospect, suddenly going on tour with Puff Daddy, who
mm,
was probably the one, like I like to kind of consider Bad Boy as the new age Motown. Do you know what I'm saying? Where you had some artists that came out the woodworks that were doing extremely well. Every time
yeah,
Dick and Harry were bumping Puffy music or Bad Boy related music, mate, you could, if Puffy asked you to do certain things, you might reconsider your morals, man. Because that could lead to something that you've never done before, you never earned before, the kind of
yeah,
prospects and kind of money you never earned before. Nowadays it's different because you can decentralize your money, you can decentralize your talent into
yeah,
sell directly to consumer. But back in the day, you didn't have those channels.
Those
You
channels
know?
weren't open. Yeah, you had to go
mm,
through the big names. You had to go for the A&Rs. You had to go to the big boys
No.
and
yeah. No,
sell yourself
definitely.
and hope they said yes. Come.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's the other thing, in it, the lifestyle that these lot were living in those days as well, like the cars, the bling, the parties, the
mm,
colors and stuff. Like obviously if you're young or whatever, and like Mike says, you're chasing something, you're gonna be lured into that false sense of security. But it's
yeah,
also that hope in it. It's false. Well, in a lot of instances, it's gonna be false hope because not everybody makes it, and
yeah,
that's where you get the thing of like, even if you don't guarantee someone with a name like that, you can still take advantage.
yeah,
You don't even have to promise anything or deliver anything. It's just the experience in itself, isn't it?
yeah. No, definitely. What do you think about this though? Like from for like the kind of like the black community kind of thing. So people are saying, "Oh, look at black people. They love to tear one of their own down." Do you think there's a bit of an element to that as well, or do you think he's guilty? So, boy, if like obviously the Jewish community, Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, blah 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 blah. But do you think as a black people we love to see like another black person fall?
I think, I think, yeah, I think in general, I think that's a problem within our community. If I'm being generalistic, I think there's a lot of people that see or get a sense of happiness to see other black people slip and
Yeah.
fall from grace.
Hmm.
And I think it's a it's a difficult one because we can't, wrong is wrong at the end of the day. We can't toe the
Yeah.
line and say, yo, because you're black, you get some special exemption from the black community.
Yeah.
Trafficking people, these are allegations, trafficking people, abusing your power, coerce people and do things is wrong, really, at the end of the day. So we have to have that as a community also be able to say, because in every community, black, white, pink, green, yellow, there are going to be wrong uns.
Yeah.
You have to, as a community, be able to say, we're all black, but that black don is a wrong un.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think in our community, there is more propensity, more strength in the ability to say, oh, look, that guy's fallen. I'm so happy now. You know, I feel a bit better about myself, personally speaking. And I think that's something that as a community, we have to work on. I think something as a community that's more so been inseminated into us. I think from our colonial days, that one of the best strategies you can to break up a strong community is to divide them. If you can divide them, get them fighting amongst themselves, they can no way form an attack or defend themselves from attacks from outside. They're weaker.
No, definitely agree with that.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah. You know what, bro? I think you're absolutely right. But at the same time, I think there's a bit of a pattern, though. You know, Doc, when you think about it, yeah. Think about all of the this great artist. I don't particularly consider Puffy an artist per se, because I don't think he's that talented. But I think he's got.
I do think that talented,
But I think his talent, or we should say his acumen, rather, is in the business realm where he was able to see and
see talent,
identify talent, nurture it.
Just pausing you quickly. Have you seen the track that came out recently with the UK artist? What's his name? Gigs.
Gigs. Yeah.
Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Black
King.
Yeah, I'm like, Puffy, you still do. That's not being an artist, bro.
He's not. He's not.
Prime example of what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not doing much. He's not saying much. But for me, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing people from Prince to MJ to Kels to Puff to all of these people that have made such huge contribution to music altogether. And as they near the age of 50, they all seem to be taken out consistently around the age bracket where from a business point of view, they've matured. There's no more to be extracted from them by way of talent, by way of input into the genre. It's now time to cash in. It almost feels as though that's it. It's done. Let's just cash in now. And these guys need to be taken down by hook or crook. And Puffy is linked now to people like you got Jay-Z's name being thrown into it. You got man like TD Jakes, Trife, his faith healer, being thrown in the mix. I'm joking, but what's concerning is that Puffy is one of many of other black artists that were prolific in the 90s and the early noughties, and now systematically being taken out of the game. As they near the age of the twilight years, if you like, within the music industry. And then I'm wondering who's now going to take the mantle.
Okay.
Are these guys going to get prosecuted, or are we going to now see them being replaced by, the new wave of, moguls or rap influencers? And I just can't. I just feel, to me, it just feels a bit slightly. I don't know. It's the conspiracy theorist in me that tells me like, boy, this stuff seems to be a bit coordinated to me. It's just coincidental like that.
So, have any of you guys seen the interview with Cat Williams and Jay?
Yeah.
So I think that Don is a smart guy. Yeah. But in it, I noticed he's talking a lot about like the powers and saying how like, there's windows into places, there's doors into places, but to access that door, you have to give up something. Something that later on they're gonna come back asking for. And I thought it was very interesting because I think a lot of people, especially when they're young, especially when they don't cover as much influence, if somebody offers you a golden ticket, from the hood and says, yo, here's this golden ticket, and this is going to give you untold wealth, this is going to give you, a life that you couldn't dream of having. Yeah, but we just need you to do this other thing. For a lot of people, that law is so strong.
Yeah.
And then once you're in that realm, you're almost in that place where you think, oh, that's the past. Like, that's done. That's not possible. And it's when that time comes to pay that back, I think is the case. And I think the pull to avoid taking these vices and all these stepping stones to get you in, that Kat was talking about, is so strong. Yeah. It's hard to say no. And especially if you're like from the hood, you don't have
much.
Yeah, you ain't got much, and you see this golden ticket, someone's waving it in your face, like, yo, you can get this thing, you know. If you just do this and you follow this pathway.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
I've heard interviews with bare people that used to be kind of like obviously like famous and stuff like that, and just saying it's a totally different ball game once you get to them levels, like almost satanic some of the stuff they're doing and stuff. And you have to give up something to kind of stay successful and stuff like
Cat
that.
Williams was saying he's not giving up his virgin hole.
Put it this way, though, right? But let's try to bring it down to what we consider to be our common denominator. Like, if you work anywhere in the city,
Yeah.
stockbroker, real estate, realtor, and them things there. We've all been to some of those Christmas parties or those parties where, you know, you go up in the toilet and there's happens to be two symmetrical parallel lines on top of the toilet, you know, that the infamous
Yeah.
armative strengths. You're like, oh, hello, what's going on down here? And you know what I mean? There's this unwritten rule. I've witnessed first-hand experience where to win the trust of others, you've got to do something slightly deviant, slightly. Is he one of us? Is he the kind of geezer that we can have a proper chat with? You know what I mean? Not a chat, but a proper chat. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. And certain things are presented before you, you know, just like, you know, so let's take him out to a strip club, see how he reacts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are and these are things that are not necessarily part of the job, but they form part of the culture, that almost the underbelly of what goes on outside of what the professional realm of work. And if you can
If you
handle
want to get
that,
promoted
then
as
you can
well.
handle everything else we're about to give you, mate, because we know you're one of us. You know what I mean? And I think in as Trife just said, when you get to those levels where multi-billions are being negotiated, because look, guys, let's not forget it's a business,
Yeah.
where billions are being generated. You need to be able to show me that you are about that life and that I can trust you with certain things, because we are about to make some serious money. But are you willing to do certain things? So I know you one of me, like, you know, we part of this cabal sort of thing, we part of this crew. And this might involve some of, you know, some sexual favors might have to be given to some people, you know, to kind of have some kind of oath making, you know, endeavor or activity, you know, so that it stays between us, you know, this thing of ours.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Like a
what I
blood
heard,
one.
you know, because obviously back in the day when P Diddy, before Bad Boy was started, there weren't much hip hop labels like that, and then P Diddy had to obviously do some of that to a big record label executive who's managed the likes of Whitney Houston and stuff like that, and then you got Bad
Clive
Boy. So, yeah. I didn't want to say the name, but
Who's a known homosexual, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after obviously you had a meeting and stuff like that, P Diddy got Bad Boy and it started to go off then kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of truth to that to those allegations, man. Definitely. I've heard it even going back to like Will Smith, like to get Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he had to give up something because they're no name people, so they've obviously had to give up something to obviously get in those.
To give up something.
To get into those positions.
To say you're in.
Yeah.
So
it's not just your talent.
It's no different from Harvey Weinstein, where Harvey Weinstein will come and link you in your hotel room at night to get this role. You had to do certain things, man. You know, but for me, it's all well and good targeting Puffy and saying, you dirty cunt, you know, we know what you got up to. But let's look at the culture of where Puffy essentially, you know, is part of.
How we got into the game,
You know, that you can't, there's no point taking out Puffy when we really need to look at the root cause of this issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to go all the way up. Like, if Hollywood, if all these music execs have got their hands in some shady business, cut the head of the snake, man. Don't just cut, you know, one of the mandem that's in there. I think it's irrelevant. Like, people like Kels, people like Puffy, you put them in jail. It's not going to stop any of our brothers and sisters being molested in the future, bro. Because it's a culture, it's a system. The system is rotten to the core.
That was another one of the allegations. Quite a few people have come out and said, like Candice Owens and Suge Knight were saying that the FBI raid was really to get rid of the evidence that Diddy had on like the top
Other
boys,
people.
basically. And so it was kind of like, because you think about it, he hasn't been charged with anything as of now. So I like conspiracy theories. I think majority of them are right. Like when someone's got a theory, and I think there's some truth to this. Like obviously protecting the big boys kind of thing, because they're the ones that obviously make the money and stuff like that. So yeah, man. And America's just corrupt. If you just look at the history of America, America's just built on corruption, man. So for me, definitely it's bigger than Puffy. He's just the kind of
100% bigger than Puffy.
They might have been one of those.
That's out there.
Do you not trust? You're right. Puffy might have got this nice USB stick of people doing certain things that shouldn't be doing, and and I reckon because you know what's been happening. Do you know Puffy had this Ciroc deal with Diageo?
Yeah.
Right. So when Puffy talked about how he had his own drink, Puffy didn't have his own drink. Puffy basically went into a joint partnership with a company called Diageo. In the UK, the head office is in Park Royal. If anybody wants to, if anybody cares, you can go to Northwest, Park Royal, the actual buildings are all there, right? Now, he had a falling out with Diageo. Apparently, they decided to distance themselves from him. And within the Diageo deal, we came out with Ciroc.
Yeah.
A lot of us drunk a bit of Ciroc, even though I'm told it's terrible vodka in comparison to proper vodka.
Yeah,
Then he came out with De Leon tequila.
Yeah.
Right. Now, he fell out with them apparently, and Puffy started to use the race card, saying there was an issue with him being black and this and that and the other. Cool.
Yeah.
But there's now some ongoing court case. And some people basically said that Diageo are basically pulling all the strings, and these guys are multi-billionaires. They don't fuck about. They got serious, long money. And they reckon that these recent allegations could potentially have come from this ongoing court case that Puffy has got with Diageo about, you know, the branding and the rights and everything else concerning Ciroc. So all I'm saying is that perhaps the fact that the guy's not been charged and all this media attention is now coming out could potentially discredit him in this court case that he's got with Diageo, go ahead where the jury might say, Puffy, you're molester, you know, you're shady character, we think you're dodgy, because at the end of the day, the jury will decide. We all know how juries see black people anyway. They might decide to say, you know, my guy.
So it's like a defamation of character thing going on.
So they look at your character. You know, if any of you man know certain men that had to go court and now bust case, you had to write a little statement that, yeah, man, my brethren is cool, man.
He was never done nothing, wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah. He was pretty fair at school, man. I used to go to church on Sundays. But you know what I'm saying? But all that character witnessing goes for you in court.
But with that one, with that, they said, you know, obviously, everyone's heard about the Cosby allegations, and he went prison, innit? He's out now, but it was when he tried to like take on NBC, because he tried to buy NBC back in the day. So after he did that, all these allegations come out about him. So so maybe it's one of them things like we don't want the black guy getting too big for his boots kind of thing, put him back. So obviously they've got receipts on everything in it. So
that's
all the receipts. Yeah, and he went pen, bruv. Did a stretch, man, even in like his 80s, bruv, which I think was deep, because there's been people that have done worse, man. Get me, and got lesser sentences, man. I'm not like trying to say what he did was right, but you get me, on the grand scale of things compared to other people, they shafted him, man. He got shafted.
Think about there was a recent article I read. Yeah, this is when I realized the power of private business. There was an ex-pilot, bro, for Boeing, who was a whistleblower, and he basically was saying how Boeing uses, you know, defective parts to repair their planes and all that, right? I kid you, this brother was supposed to testify, like, say, on a Wednesday. My man was found murked. Like, he did some madness. I think he either jumped out of a hotel building or was found hung. And the cheek of it, and Boeing sent a letter saying, He was such a good guy. We really liked him. It's a shame that he died. You're right. That's when I realized that you motherfuckers killed this brother. Because this
Yeah.
brother was going to go out to court, air your business, probably cost your company to go bankrupt. And you're telling me that Boeing ain't got a couple of command them that can make a call to it and say, listen, this brother's chatting pattying. We need him done. We need him gone like tomorrow because the court case is on such a day. He's got damning evidence. Man needs to go. Who's to say that Diageo ain't got the same thing going on with my man Puff? And Puff is saying, look, I can win this case. Because
Yeah.
before Puff decided to go to court with that man, he'll have consulted his lawyers, consulted everyone. They would have brought the evidence and thinking, rah, you got bare receipts. You can win this.
Mm.
And then suddenly this madness comes out, and then boom, Cassie might have been tailed somewhere on her way to some Waitrose shopping. Yo, Cassie, come here. Tell us about Puffy. If we've gone to
Yeah.
the head, you go to the
Yeah.
papers tomorrow and say this and that and the other. We don't know. Like, it's real out there. And all I'm saying is that multinational companies, private companies, are more powerful than governments, as far as I'm concerned. And if they
Yeah.
want you out, they'll take you out, bro.
Mm.
It's all about the dough at the end of the day. No one
Yeah, it's
wants
all
to
about
be the paper
Benjamins.
played with. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I
You know what
totally
I mean?
agree with you. Totally, 100%, man. There's definitely a dark side to like corporate companies, like when it comes to their dough and their reputation, man. Like they're just everyone just turn up dead, didn't it? Suicide. The most happiest guy in the world. He's had court tomorrow, and he's just throwing himself
Oh,
out
it's
his
going to
window.
be suicidal.
Read the thing. Read when you read the article, you're like, oh my days. Man got murked.
Yeah,
Literally, he was like he committed suicide with he got shot in the back of the head. He killed himself with a gun. Like the way I read the article, I was like, nah, you man killed his brother. I'll circulate it in the group, boys, and you got to read
yeah,
for
please.
yourself. You realize that something out there is not right. And look, I'm not excusing Puffy at the end of the day because none of us here have run a record label. None of us have got those umpteen millions. Like Puffy's a near enough a billionaire, really, when you think about what he's achieved. Yeah,
Yeah,
for a brother from Harlem, single parent household to do what he's
Yeah.
done is freaking fantastic and phenomenal. You got to rate the guy. But one thing I
mm,
have heard of other people about the way Puffy operates, he's a selfish bastard. All he cares about is winning at all
Winner,
costs,
yeah.
winning. He's a
Whoever
win.
loses, don't care. Own team, same team.
Yeah,
steamrolled
Raggo.
over. Yeah,
Raggo, he don't care. He'll throw you under the bus if you're not making him any money. And at the end of the day, bro, he's no. It's the way corporate America works. It's the way corporate Britain works. If you're not performing, you're out the
Yeah.
door. We'll get someone
Out
else
the
in
door.
there. That's just how they
Numbers, the
operate.
numbers game.
So you got to
Do you-
understand why he had to be ruthless, and
yeah,
and he's
100%.
probably learned that from the environment that he
Yeah,
participated in. So you got to give him props for maneuvering himself into that world. But
yeah,
if whatever he's been, alleged to be guilty of is true, to some degree, bro, I'm not really surprised if I'm brutally honest, because
yeah,
when Puffy did shine the way he did, that's
yeah.
when I
Dog.
realized that this guy was dirty.
Nah,
What do
Shine,
you do to shine?
Shine took
Surprise,
the rap.
surprise you.
took the rap for
Shine
his
took
shooting.
the rap for the shooting, and he said it was just him that committed the shooting. But I honestly think that Puffy might have fired a shot or two. And this is very shortly after J-Lo distanced herself from Puffy, and they
It's
broke
because
up.
it was because of that. Yeah, because
Yeah, but
obviously,
Shine spent the best part of 20 years in jail, isn't it? Or was it
nah, I don't think it was that long. I think it's about 12 years or so at the end.
12 years? But he was at the
Yeah,
height of his game. He was young. He was
yeah,
his album was still. I still bump this album now. The album was sick, and
yeah,
Sean was at the top of his game. But all Sean did was, as a younger, respecting his older, was protect the crew, protect the king.
yeah,
People are coming for my brethren. I'm letting it go. But Puff apparently got his own lawyer, left Shine with a different lawyer. They didn't even have the same legal team,
Oh,
bro. It was
yeah,
a mazza, and
yeah.
my man had to spend 12 years in jail, bro.
Mm,
And whilst Puff is still doing shacking out, screaming, take that. My man's in jail,
yeah,
But eh, so you know what? At the end of the day, bro, like this karma thing is real, man. You can't go around shitting on people and expect to get away with it because you will get your comeuppance somewhat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With that in mind, then, do you throw this out to the group? Do you think do you reckon Diddy had something to do with the killings of Tupac and Biggie?
Yes.
You reckon he's involved? Go on, P. Go on. What's your theory on it?
Well, when you think about the background, the sort of empires that were being built, a lot of these things, even when Mike was talking about corporations, etc., I have a theory that a lot of these things, and don't shoot me down here, religious people as well, a lot of these sort of things are, I believe, meant for generational protected wealth, for legacy. And I think I always come across religion. I think, somebody sat there and said, right, this is my path, this is my path, this is my path. And you got different things and they go off in different directions. People follow for whatever reasons. They align themselves to it. When you bring it back to like either corporate business, you have different brands of everything, or you bring it into politics, different brands, different policies. And you bring it into business. Like you look at those times, it was Tupac, Biggie, that was it. That was all you heard mainstream. That's what we were seeing on the TV, etc. And you can almost offset with the gangland culture and all this kind of stuff to just say, do you know what? This is what happened. Because that's what they did. That's what they pass it off as.
Yeah.
And who took shots at who? Tupac got shot up before he even got taken out.
Yeah.
While hanging out in East Side.
Yeah.
So Diddy standing there, he's got his front man. Dre, Death Row got their front man. It was always going to be whoever gets taken out first.
Yeah.
I don't think when you look at it on the face of it, Dre is still behind the scenes doing his thing. He's still putting out music with his artists and stuff like that. You look at Eminem, 50 Cent, all those people are still banking money. They're doing things. They've evolved. You go over across to Bad Boy, yeah, they've gone into alcohol, this. But Diddy, I don't think he's that intelligent. I don't think he's that intelligent to do what a Dre did or an Eminem did or 50 Cent even has done. Look how 50 Cent's just running game on Diddy on his Instagram account like that. 50's a junior, bruv, compared to Diddy, really.
Also about 50,
he's a junior.
I'll say, is that guy, like, says so much stuff. And I never see anybody really check him.
No.
And some things he says, wow, but that's the point. I'm like, yo, this dude is on to stuff, you know that? Because it's like people are scared.
But you know what his hostility towards Diddy is? It's also with his baby mother, man. Like since the baby mother came into the picture, they were cool before that. Since he started dating his baby mother, man's just throwing shots at him. I think it was like 2015 and stuff like that. He started seeing 50's baby mother, and since then, relentless, bruv. So I get 50. Yeah, bruv. Like, even now, she's in one of the lawsuits as being a sex worker, and so 50's trying to get the custody of the child now because she's in one of P Diddy's saying that she was paid as a sex worker, and so 50's dissing her on socials, man. So boy,
and that's probably Puffy knowing that was 50's ex baby moms, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So you broke the code right there. Like you can't be smashing your brethren's baby moms like that. It's dark.
There's no code, man. P Diddy dated his own son's girlfriend.
You think that's dirty?
Yeah, Laurie Harvey. Yeah, he went out with one of P Diddy's sons, and then P Diddy started dating her after that. After that, I washed my hands with him before that with all that the artist stuff, but after that, that's just no morals there, man.
Zero.
Passed around like a blunt, man.
I don't care how big a pum pum or a breast or batty is, bro. You can't be doing them things there. There's bare gal out there that you can smash. Not your son's thing. I thought your son's done been through that,
bro. Why you got to smash your son's
son's thing? Not even like
your son's thing. You got to smash.
Not even brother, the son. That's bad as itself. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go there. Or like friends, but like
friends
smashing his son's own blood. After, Nah, man.
Well, this is what I mean. The man's reckless.
Yeah, he is, man.
He's reckless. He doesn't give a fuck, man. Like, he doesn't care what he's doing. And this is why when you're saying like, was he involved in it? Of course he was.
Yeah. I was discussing this today, man, when it was out. Down in Jumeirah, man, talking to some of the people about wealth and the money. Like basically, some of them, Dubai has a lot of communities from different parts of the world, right? And a lot of the Pakistanis were telling me about like they found the locals extremely arrogant towards them. And I said, why is it? Is it because they got so much dough? And he said, yeah. He said, money. When you have so much money, you don't have no humility. And I said that, but why would you need to be humble if you got so much dough? You don't. You've never learned to be humble because you had dough from their dough. And Puffy could be one of those man that has no humility because he's been rich for so long. Like he's been rich since his 20s,
Yeah.
90s, 50s. So you can't expect a man like that to be humble and to remain humble for 30 years where he's had access
He's
to
been writing the
absolutely
rules.
everything.
Mm.
You write your own rules. Rich people write their own rules.
Their rules.
They're not humble in any stretch. They don't need to be humble. Poor people are humble. Rich people aren't humble. And just go back to what you were saying, Doc, it gets to the point where when you've got untold wealth, and us, man, we don't know what it is to be a multi-millionaire. But if we ever get the chance to be, God willing, we better hope and pray your morals were tight. Because I can see some of your niggas. I can see some man's here acting mad.
Wait, what is a freak off, man? What is a freak off? That's another thing Diddy's supposed to be involved in. Loads of freak offs. What the hell is a freak off?
Jokes.
I don't know.
Bro, I thought it was some kind of sex Mexican standoff because I don't know what I don't get it. What, like I bring out my Johns, you bring out your Johns. And what? We just like bash one out in front of each other. It's like who's who busts first? I don't know.
Sounds like some Jeffrey Epstein stuff there, boy.
But bro, is there a guy called? You got to listen to this interview. There's a brother called Gene Deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my days.
Gene Deal, I think, used to be Puffy's bodyguard or something.
Yeah.
And it's this story. I swear, I was busting bare jokes like when I read it, or when I watched it. Ja Rule and Puffy apparently. Gene Deal was outside the hotel room, and before that, they went shopping. You know when Puffy tells you let's go shopping, it's a different kind of shopping.
Yeah.
They went shopping for.
The cat was talking about this as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was bad.
When Diddy calls you to go shopping, boy.
It's different type of shopping. But apparently they went shopping for guns and that, but they also went shopping for sex toys. And they were buying like anal plugs and all that kind of stuff. And Gene Deal was basically, Puffy gave him strict instructions, don't let anybody into my hotel room. So him and Ja Rule were in this hotel room together. And something must have happened. There was some kind of an emergency where Gene Deal had to go in. Like he had to go and see what's going on. Like, let's say your Puff. Let's just say there was a fire in the hotel. Yeah. And at that point, you got to tell the gaffer, like, look, gaffer, there's a hotel. We need to go. There's a fire in the hotel. We need to go. Gene Deal must have gone in there and he said, boy, all he saw was like two naked brothers that don't need to be naked in one room and bare sex toys hanging about. And they looked in uncompromising positions. Like Gene Deal basically and Gene Deal was basically saying to the hotel clerk something along those lines, you don't want to go in there, mate. Like you don't want to go in there. You might, it's just not one of them ones. And Gene is actually it's been tight with Puffy for years.
Yeah.
So when a man's talking like that, can you imagine if Terry Trife did a documentary on Billionaire Mike? I've known this nigga for years. Suddenly he's coming out with bare shit. Like, you're gonna start thinking like, yo, maybe Trife is right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like, bro, there's no smoke without fire in it. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Something's gone. Like my man's done some dodgy shit. Like let's keep it a buck. You know.
Yeah.
But again, he remains to be arrested for his stuff. So we gotta respect the law, innit? He's innocent until proven guilty at the end of the day. But it's not looking good though.
I think a lot is exactly what Terry was saying earlier on. Like, I think in that, and even what you were saying, Millie, in that when you get to a certain position, like it's almost an induction into these circles. You have to give up something that compromises you, and a smart man also takes things that compromises others. So I think it might be a lot of that going on. Like, yo, you can create smoke, but none of you can't make anything stick, because if something sticks, I'm gonna make shit stick too. You know what I mean? I can't say you can get in that position, get to where you got to so far, do all of that, and all this is smoking around, and there's not been one official like, let's charge him for this or charge him for that.
Well, talking about oaths, right? You're in a position to talk about oaths because you got to take the what is it? The autocratic oath, is it?
The Hippocratic Oath.
Hippocratic oath. So it's an oath to the gods of medicine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you'll always promise to be the best doctor you can ever be, irrespective of the
Always
situation.
acting the right guys, always acting in the spirit of the patient, what's best for them.
There you go. And I believe that oath takes you. It doesn't really matter where you go. You could be in India tomorrow. If some guy, is there a doctor? Yeah, I'm here. You know, you got to go do it. Same thing. I think these mans, as Terry said earlier, I think it's mixed up into some kind of voodoo shit.
Yeah.
Where they got to do some shit and like, yo, from this day forth, Puffy, you one of us. Anything go on, you speak to us, we'll sort you out. You know, but you gotta fucking drink this blood, tap this guy's batty, and you know, and we gotta film it.
Unreal neck.
Yeah. we gotta film it just for evidence. And as long as you don't, as long as you're cool with us, this
we
never
cool
comes
with you.
out.
No one is ever gonna see this.
Bro,
Yeah.
you hear about this from Skull and Bones, from the bushes. You hear about this stuff, bro, and you can't just be hearsay. There has to be something in there.
Some truth in it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has to be, bro. It has to be. Like, it's no different from gang initiation. Some gangs get you beating the shit out of to be part of a blood gang or a crip gang. You know, you hear horror stories of girls having to be gang banged to be part of a gang. You got some gangs. Do you ever hear about this urban legend where you had to go and shoot the guy that was back in the day? If you rode around in at night with a car,
Yeah,
that
you
had no lights on, and if the first person that
Flash you.
flashed the lights, you have to go and do a madness on them.
Yeah.
There's all these stuff, bro, doesn't come out of nowhere. There's definitely something that man has to do, or man has to give up to do certain things. And I
Do you
think
think?
Puffy is really one of them ones.
Do you think
I
his
think when
music's
you're
gonna be
dealing,
cancelled?
Bro, I thought that for me the best Puffy tune is not even a Puffy tune. Actually, there's maybe two, but it's Puffy, Mace, and Biggie. B-I-G, B-O, B-B-A, knowing
Yeah.
for the E-A, Federal Station. That's a big tune.
Yeah.
You tell it, I'm
Yeah.
tracking that to that tune. Bro, I still listen to R. Kelly anyway. I don't give a shit. So I'm
Yeah.
listening to Puffy all day.
Yeah. Standard. I
You
don't
got to
care, man.
separate the artist
I
from the
think
art at the end of the day.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't. I don't think. I mean, we grown men, 80s born, most the majority of us. You can't tell us to cancel who we're going to cancel. Like, you know,
Whole
if
childhood,
you
the whole
if you want to do
teenage
that, if you
years.
want to go through the whole of the black music catalog, there's always been some dodgy shit. Like, I love Teddy Pendergrass. I heard he was tapping a freaking Tran. You know,
I love
so what
Teddy.
am I gonna do? Still listen to the tunes. I can separate the artist from the actual individual, but you know, this cancel culture, I think, is for the young people. But as far as I'm concerned, like, look, you can't deny what Puffy's brought to the game. What he's brought to the game, to music, to culture. Like, I used to buy Sean John t-shirts. I used to buy Sean John perfume, bro, or aftershave. When he brought that, I was involved. Do you know
What
what I'm
boxer
saying?
shorts?
No, not the boxers. I don't need it though. But you know, so these guys, bro, shaped our and helped influenced us in many, many, many ways.
Huge
It's a
ways.
shame to hear about them now, 10, 20 years later, hearing that they are embroiled in some legal issues. But again, I maintain he's not been charged with anything.
Yeah.
So until he's charged with something concrete, you know, I'll just, you know, bring out a popcorn and just carry on watching the movie until something happens.
Movie, yeah. Carry on watching the 10 episodes. So the thing is that what you're saying leads me into thinking also. It's two things. So the first thing is, when you're dealing with that scale of money and that scale of influence, and you're walking into that circle with not much, it reminds me of like the stories I've heard about like those corrupt governments where you know you walk into that government and they'll say, "Yo, do you know what? We need to know you also want to kind of pocket some dough, even if you'll come with the right intention. We can't really let you in until we see you take a couple backhands, and then we know you're good. Because if you say anything, we'll say, look, you've been taking these backhands." So it's hard when you've got not much to believe that you stepped into that circle and you didn't have to do something that would compromise you, or they could use against you later to say, yeah, you fuck are you? We got you. And pull it out. That makes sense. You know, that to me,
real talk,
struggle to see. I think he had, and I think that's one of the problems that was a blight for us is in the fact that even if you had the talent, that weren't good enough. You weren't getting a pass on talent. Yeah, because they felt like they had all the options to the talent. You need to come with talent and a couple things more and something we can hold on you so you can't.
100%. And Doc, and I think if we had the opportunity to have people lay it all bare, we would be shocked and
And the
astounded
things they would have to
at
tell
the
us.
volume of some of our favorite actresses, favorite models. Some of them, they probably got battered. They probably had to
bro.
suck someone's nuts. They probably, some even the rappers that we think are probably the most hardcore niggas on the planet, probably got battered by some guy.
Yeah,
We've
100%.
got no freaking
someone.
idea the sheer scale of debauchery that like Kanye West has got this lyric in one of his albums. I think it's called a Dropout. He used to say that the previous people do the ugliest things. I think he was on the All Falls Down.
Yeah.
And I think it's just entrenched in the actual industry, bro. Because talent isn't enough. Sometimes talent isn't enough.
Yeah.
You seen that though? There was like this photo there must have been some all white party last year. I think Diddy was there, but there was all that these big top record label like proper big boys like Universal, Sony, and they must have been at this pool party, all white party. And I think that Little Baby was there, and he was getting like these guys, and he was just having it.
He was what?
Yeah, bruv. I
from the back of it.
I connect the pictures around the group, but he was just getting like manhandled by these these
white guys.
old
white guys.
like old white guys basically.
This is what I'm saying, bruv. Like, why does everything look back to an old white guy, bruv?
Looking mad uncomfortable, but he was just smiling like, you know, one of them ones like blink if you're in trouble. One of them ones, bruv. Like, bruv.
Like, I don't know what to do in this situation. This is wrong, but
gotta do it, man, for the bag in it, man. So I think a lot of them mans have given up the batty for bigger prizes, bruv. If I'm being honest.
Boys, what I'm saying is if this shit up that is real, like corporate Britain alone, I've been to those parties where there's all kinds of madness going on.
I bet you have, mate.
I've been there, and you're like, raw. This is how my man is going on. This is like you popping out of your eyes are popping out of your head, like unbelievable. Men and women acting absolutely debauched, and because the aim of the game for many people is to get to the top at all costs. They just get to the top, whether it's sleeping their way through or doing whatever they need to do to get to the top. And this thirst for being better than the next man is real. Some people generally, that's all they have in life is they want to be better than the next man. Whether it's driving the biggest whip, having the biggest yard, having the biggest pay packet, they'll do whatever it takes to go there.
Whatever it takes to be there.
And I think Puffy is one of those guys who will do whatever it takes to be there. You know, and not just Puffy. I think Puffy is just one of many people we'll hear about over the next few months or years or whatever. But I genuinely do think that he's rattled the feathers of some people he shouldn't have rattled the feathers with that is causing this issue. Because at the end of the day, I mean, let's keep it 100. Like, he's a black man in America. America don't really care about black people like that. Don't give a shit. He's pissed on enough, big.
He has. That's what they're saying. He's got to pay his Illuminati fee, innit?
Got to pay his subscription.
It bounced, boy, and they just like,
he bounced, exactly.
Okay. I totally agree with Mike, man. He must have done something to someone or upset that kind of circle for this all this stuff to come out, because you see them all like throwing up like they're like Satan signs and stuff like that all the time, man. So there's a big satanic influence on the music industry when you get to that top level, man. And he's been doing it for years, man. So boy, all of a sudden,
a lot of it is like I said, it's that power. Like I said, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think when you're someone who's wet behind the ears and you step into this culture, you don't have the older fathers of wisdom telling you, yo, do you know what? Yeah, you want to try and keep your batty or a virgin, and you want to try and navigate this thing and this thing and this thing. You just step into this realm. No one's really watching you, and you're in a room, and there's other people in there, and someone says, yo, you got to give the man neck. That's how it goes. Right. Well, everybody's here watching this. must be normal. Do you get what I mean? I feel like when you're young and you're seeing the millies and the billies that these guys are touting, that pressure, like, you know, when you think about it, like, mans would say it another way. Like, I see that skit that those I think there's a bunch of black guys and they're talking, and the man walks in and he goes, "Would you give a man neck for this much money?" And the black guy walks in and goes, "Calm, this is business." Now he's just saying that generally, but now you're in the environment where man's literally telling you, "You want these millies, you need to give this don neck, yeah, you need to make it good." And with that pressure, you're there. You're like, maybe this is what I got to do. And once you do that, that's got to change you. So once you get changed, you start going through the ranks. That's your induction. Next people come in, nah, bro, you got to do this. And I think again, when you're in that powerful position, you start pushing all boundaries. Well, who's stopping me? I've got this money. Let me try, you know, another man's back passage and see how that runs. That, you know, that could be the tip. Yeah, I mean, you're just there. Everything's who's stopping you?
It's just like, you know, pretend it's chicken when they give you some fucking frog legs to eat. Just pretend it's chicken. Same thing. Pretend it's pum pum, and you get through it. It's just how people rationalize it. But you're absolutely right. Even hearing dudes, bro, like you see bear gal here, and I said, I know none of you are stockbrokers. You don't look like stockbrokers. I'm sure a lot of you are giving up their nuns for a nice little fee. And it's just the way it is, bro. Everyone has a price. As much as people don't say we don't have a price or have this money. I'm not saying that none of us are going to be happy batty, male batty for some dough. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is some kind of money somewhere that will motivate you to might do something that you know what,
You wouldn't usually
boy,
do.
this is the thing. Not really. That's not really me, you know, bro. But do you know what I'm saying?
That's life-changing money, you know.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's real. It's real. And if you're not grounded in anything, if you're not, you know, and if you haven't got that grounding, first of all, spiritually or whatever it is, or
people around you, an environment, a culture, stepping
real
into the
talk,
realm
you
that's
know,
uncharted.
or you're not in debt or anything like that, then you're good. You can learn to say no. But it's a big mammoth task, and I honestly think that Puffy is just another one in the line of many mandem that's gone through this, and it won't be the last.
Won't be the last.
Not at all.
I'd like to see how it pans out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, man. So what, Doc? You're asking for closing statements?
Yes, that's gonna be my next point.
Trife has a lot to talk about that, man. I'm sure.
Trife, you feel like you're the expert,
he's
bro.
one
You
of
can
those
drop me some
strappy
bombs.
young man guys.
Don't even go there, bro. Don't even go there.
He'll do well in those parties, man.
With them biceps and that.
No. On the real though, closing statement for me. I think stay away from Diddy parties. If he's innocent, you know, boy, one of them ones. No, but on the real though, I kind of knew this was coming for him from years ago because he's just treated a lot of artists that have given him like their lives and good music just like shit, basically, like not paying for healthcare on their deathbed and showing up at the funeral like he's actually helped them, and the only reason he's actually giving people back their royalties is because he doesn't want them to talk about him. So that's telling in itself. Do I think he's guilty? I think he's guilty of some things. I think some things have been exaggerated, maybe, but again, you just don't know, innit? And well, as they say, it's guilty until proven innocent, man. Like he has given a lot to the music game and stuff like that, and he has given opportunities to like the community, and he has donated money. But boy, if you're doing them things, then kind of deserves everything that's coming to him.
Yeah, sick. What about you, Pleasure P?
Pleasure P. What is it? Rush Hour. One of the Rush Hour films. Chris Tucker says, "Follow the rich white man," and that's always resonated with me when he says that. I think he's obviously done some shit. That's obvious. Yeah, that's obvious. And even in that video with Gigs Brothers, he looked like he did some shit there too. Like, do you know what I mean?
He looked like
he just finished some shit there. He weren't playing a part. And one of the things I think that happens is in these kind of industries, it almost sort of goes back a little bit to slavery. It's a bit of control when they got all these young black people at their command, literally. And a lot of this stuff is humiliation bred through generational in the industry. So you have to do something humiliating, and then depending on the kind of person you are, instead of making change, you might just decide, I'm going to humiliate the next man or whatever. And it's just a vicious cycle that continues. And that is in men's DNA. To have control over another man or something like that is sometimes more than money. And I don't see, I'm not personally like that. I can't see that I would want to do something like that myself if I was ever rich. But there are some people there that just think, do you know what? I can take advantage. I can do something. This is what I'm going to do. So I think in a roundabout way, yeah, loads of people have done loads of shit. And if you don't take the moral high road and make a change and do something different, it's going to come back. It's always going to come back at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Sick. What about you, Millie?
Yo, Doc, you heard of the saying, hurt people, yeah? I think that Puffy's wealth and success was predicated upon him having to compromise himself, his soul. And when you look at the allegations of some of the things that Pleasure P talked about, people being sexually advanced and all that kind of madness, what I think might have happened, according to me, is I think Puffy probably got smashed by a brer or smashed a brer and basically tried to make or everyone come after him do something worse or just as bad as he did to make himself feel a bit better. Because that's what people do.
That's what people do, yeah.
When
Exactly.
they hurt and when they compromise themselves, and they want to basically see some of the things I was reading about what Cassie was smashing male prostitutes and stuff like that in front of Puffy, back beating one out to make himself feel better. Because I genuinely do believe that if these allegations are true, or if whatever happened is indeed true, Puffy deep down he's lonely, he's lost, and he's lost himself in the whole process of chasing fame, wealth, and do all these fleeting things. At the end of the day, we all want to make paper, we all want to make dough, but at what cost, though, bro? Like, 'cause you want to be able to get up every morning and stand on your own two and say, "Look, I did this out my own back." No man can say they claim my body or give a man. Or, do you know what I'm saying? You want to be say, "This is my pure endeavor, my pure genius, my intellectual property got me to where I got to."
Yeah.
And we live in a world where some of it is rewarded and sometimes some of it isn't, because we've got gatekeepers that are asking you to compromise yourself. And I honestly do believe that despite Puffy's greatness, he might have compromised himself in such a way that, you know what, as good as you are, all your good will be eradicated because we now know that you've been chasing Batty or being beaten. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's sad, really sad to hear, because we have very few role models in the community. When I look at the black community, I don't look at it as just a man in the UK. I look at it as like, we've seen global. Yeah, bro, we've seen global. I'm in Dubai right now, Doc, and I'm seen as a global brother. It don't matter where I'm from. They see me and like, yo, where you from? UK. Oh, cool, nice. Like your style, your swag. Yeah, UK niggas. That's what we do. Do you know what I'm saying? But they still see me as a member of the black community from a different part of the black diaspora. And Puffy is another part of that, as far as I'm concerned. He influenced Mandem in Northwest London, or UK altogether. It doesn't really matter where he's from. And we like to see our brothers win. But it's a shame. It's a shame, as I said, it's consistent from when I was young, from mans like Bob Marley to James Brown. There's always some kind of issue with our
allegation. Yeah,
leaders, whether either smashing out bad things, or there's always none of them are able to be given a noble end to their career. There's always some kind of controversy. And it's just really, it's concerning, really, it really is. But until we see the end of this show, let's just give Puffy the benefit of the doubt. But like I said earlier, it's not looking good. And I think Puffy is just part of, this cabal. And they want their receipts, man. They just want their, as Terry said, you can pay the monthly subscription.
Yeah, that was excellently put, man. I agree with you. I agree with what everybody said. I think for my closing statement, I think it's telling for several reasons. I've heard a lot of talk about gatekeepers and having to compromise yourself if you want to make it, even with talent, even with bags of talent. You still have to somehow compromise yourself. I see lots of the parallels that's running in this as parallels which was run in history, as there's almost an illusion that you are free, but actually you are not. We give you the illusion that you are free and that you have your own decisions, your own choices. We don't. We still hold a chain around you. It's just now, before you could see the chain, you could touch it. Now you can't, you know. And the moment when you feel like you're somewhere, we can just yank that chain and you're back perfectly where we want you. And I think it's difficult again when you are in a position where you don't know, you're young, you're trying to reach a certain place, and you're trying to kind of jump into realms that you've not used to. When you go into those realms, you step into a new room and people normalize what is obviously not normal. It can be hard. You need to have the most unbelievable amount of fortitude to be able to say, I'm not going to partake in such acts because that compromises me. You know, when you're young, wet behind your ears, not much resources, and someone says, yo, look at all these millies here. I just need you to do this compromising thing. And there's a bag of people in the room, not even batting an eyelid. You think, well, maybe this is normal. And I think, unfortunately, that does do damage to you psychologically. And I think, therefore, you learn that's the rules. Anybody that comes after me, this is what I need to do. Rather than even, I'm not agreeing with the principles, rather than even if you've done that, to think, let me break the chain actually. Well, let me get people through on talent. Let me set a new standard, especially for the Black community. You know, let me be a gatekeeper that actually opens the gate to people with talent that doesn't look to create this. And then again, like I said, I think absolute power, you know, corrupts absolutely. And I think when you put yourself into a position amassing so much power, so much wealth, and you go this long and nothing checks you, you got to feel a bit invincible. You got to feel like, well, you know, what can't I do? No one can stop me. Police can't stop me. My community can't stop me. You know, I am that person. And again, I think other powers that be will, when they see you maybe reach a place, or they think, oh, no, actually, you upset me, we're going to yank that chain and bring you right back down to earth, or put you where we want you. I think it's a shame because, again, I think this is a topic for another episode, and we've mentioned this a few times about our artists, be it music, be it whatever, getting smeared. Do we still treat their product the same way? You know, can we separate the artist from the product? I think is a great topic that we should talk about, because we were raised on lots of the products of these artists, and you know, that's our foundation, our youth. Don't agree with maybe what's happened to them, but does that taint the product? I think is a great talk for another time. But I digress. I think there's no smoke without fire. I want to give the Don the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. But you know, when you hear all the rumors, it's hard to say, you know, and seeing his history, it's hard to say, dude, you're clean. Something's got to stick. I just feel like something's got to stick. Even if it don't stick in real world, there's something's got to stick. Yeah, so that's my views. So again, this has been a great topic, a great, actually really, really engaging conversation, not only just about the Diddy situation, but about our community and about, just what's happening to some of the artists that we grew up on. As we always do, you know, you guys need to follow us on all of our socials, you know, SBAS_show. Check us out, give us some like, give us some love, share, tell everybody about us. We need you guys to grow. We love the attention you're giving us. We're available on other platforms. I'm going to stop chatting and let the other guys pipe in and tell you. Don't all speak at once.
X, Facebook,
Insta.
Yeah, no, we are on TikTok too.
TikTok as well. Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Cool music.
Check us out. We're bringing out lots more content. We try to hit you guys twice a week now. Give you the shape up so that you can still stay fresh, up to date, and then hit you with the big stuff on the weekend. This weekend, or coming, this is probably going to come out after, actually, in hindsight. But, you know, we've got lots of episodes. We've got Black Health, you know, being black is a risky business. We've got, what was the one that you did, P?
Black vs Asians.
Yeah, that one.
Who immigrated better?
Yeah,
who immigrated better?
And then we got the whole age-old debate going Dutch as well. Is it a 50-50 thing? Is that how we do? Anyway, guys, I'm going to send love and say we out. Doc, signing out.
Peace.
Peace.